Are you looking for me? I am in the next breath. I am not in the temple, nor in the mosque. I am not in Kaaba, nor in Kailash, Kabir. How many of you, at some point in your life, have felt a deep yearning for something more? A spiritual hunger that conventional answers, rigid doctrines, or even stacks of sacred texts just couldn't satisfy. You've read the holy books, perhaps memorized verses, followed rituals meticulously, yet a subtle disquiet remains. A feeling that despite all the effort, the true essence, the living pulse of the divine, remains just beyond your grasp. It's a feeling I know well, and it's a question that has echoed through the ages. A question that a remarkable 15th century mystic, a simple weaver from Varanasi named Kabir, not only grappled with, but answered with astonishing clarity and courage. He dared to say, "The path home, the path to truth, is far simpler than we have been led to believe." And often it requires us to set aside the very things we thought were guiding us. Imagine 15th century India, a land vibrant with spiritual fervor, yet also deeply divided. Temples and mosques dotted the landscape, each proclaiming its unique path to God. Scholars debated intricate theological points. Brahmins performed elaborate Vedic rituals. Sufi mystics engaged in their ecstatic practices, and yogis pursued rigorous asceticism. Scriptures, the Vedas, the Quran, the Puranas, were revered, memorized, and meticulously interpreted. The path to the divine seemed to demand immense study, complex rituals, strict adherence to caste, creed, and community. For the common person, navigating this spiritual landscape was akin to trying to find a hidden treasure in a labyrinth designed by 1,000 different architects, each with their own conflicting map. Which path was correct? Which scripture held the ultimate key? The sheer volume of information, the conflicting interpretations, the weight of tradition, it was overwhelming. The focus shifted from direct experience of the divine to the meticulous performance of outward forms, to the intellectual mastery of texts, to the rigid adherence to identity markers. People spent lifetimes studying, debating, and performing. They traveled to holy sites, bathed in sacred rivers, and offered countless prayers, all in the hope of glimpsing the truth, of connecting with the divine. But for many, especially those on the fringes of society, the divine remained distant, obscured by layers of dogma. Inaccessible through the gates guarded by priests, pundits, and imams. The spiritual journey became a burdensome task, a quest fraught with rules, fear of error, and a constant feeling of inadequacy. The truth felt like something owned and doled out by institutions, rather than an inherent birthright. This was the world into which Kabir was born. A simple weaver, neither Hindu nor Muslim in the orthodox sense, but someone who saw the profound hypocrisy and separation created by these very systems. He observed the endless arguments, the violence born of religious difference, and the way spiritual truth was often buried under mountains of ritual and text. He saw people desperately searching in libraries and temples for what lay within their own hearts. And then came Kabir. He didn't come with new scriptures or a new religion. He didn't claim to have uncovered lost ancient texts. Instead, his insight was shockingly simple, yet utterly revolutionary. Truth isn't found in books, but in experience. God isn't in a temple or a mosque. God is within you. Imagine the scene: a crowd gathered, perhaps by the Ganges or in a bustling marketplace. Scholars might be quoting ancient texts, priests performing elaborate rituals, and then a humble weaver with an intensity in his eyes begins to sing. Not in Sanskrit or Arabic, the languages of the learned, but in the earthy, common tongue of the people. His songs, known as dohas or padas, cut through the intellectual fog like a laser beam. One of his most famous verses encapsulates this shift. Are you looking for me? I am in the next breath. I am not in the temple, nor in the mosque. I am not in Kaaba, nor in Kailash. I am not in rituals or ceremonies, nor in yoga or renunciation. This wasn't just poetry. It was an earthquake in the spiritual landscape. Kabir was saying unequivocally that the divine is immanent, not just transcendent. It's not somewhere far off, requiring arduous pilgrimage or esoteric knowledge. It's here, in the very breath you take. It's now, in the immediacy of your present moment. His shift was from external seeking to internal realization, from intellectual understanding to direct knowing. He wasn't advocating for ignorance or abandoning learning altogether. Rather, he was highlighting that the map is not the territory. The scriptures are pointers, fingers pointing to the moon. But too often, we get so caught up in debating the finger, its shape, its origin, its length, that we forget to look at the moon itself. Kabir's profound realization was that the ultimate truth, the direct experience of the divine, is a matter of the heart, not the head. It's about perception, not acquisition. It's about stripping away, not accumulating. This was the moment for him, and for those who truly heard him, that the burdensome spiritual quest suddenly became light. The complex labyrinth dissolved, revealing a simple, open path. Kabir's core message, revolutionary then and profoundly relevant now, is multifaceted, yet always circles back to simplicity and direct experience. Let's break it down. 1. The internalization of the divine God within. The most foundational aspect of Kabir's teaching is that the divine resides within each of us. He challenged the notion that God is an external entity to be appeased or sought in specific holy places. He famously declared, "The Lord is in me, the Lord is in you, as life is in every seed. O servant, throw away all your illusions and look for him within you." This isn't just a poetic statement. It's an invitation to shift our entire focus. If the divine is already present, then our spiritual task isn't to go somewhere or do something to get God, but to realize God's presence, to uncover what is already there, obscured by our own conditioning, fears, and attachments. It's about recognizing that our truest self is intrinsically connected to the universal spirit. 2. The rejection of empty ritual and externalism. Kabir was relentless in his critique of religious hypocrisy and the performance of rituals without inner sincerity. He saw priests, pundits, and mullahs arguing over doctrine, fasting, bathing in holy rivers, or kneeling in prayer 5 times a day, all while their hearts remained untouched by true compassion or understanding. He questioned, if bathing in the holy river brings salvation, then fish and frogs must be the most enlightened beings. If God lives only in the mosque, who owns the rest of the world? If God lives only in the idol, then what about the things that are not idols? His point wasn't to condemn these practices outright, but to emphasize that their form is meaningless without inner transformation. The act of prayer, the ritual, the pilgrimage, these are only useful if they serve as a catalyst for a change within. Otherwise, they become mere empty gestures, distractions that keep us from the actual truth. Dropping the scriptures, in this sense, means dropping the blind adherence to their external instructions without internal wisdom. 3. The unity of all faiths and the formless divine. One of Kabir's most powerful contributions was his radical vision of unity. In a land torn by religious strife, he declared that Ram, the Hindu name for God, and Rahim, the Muslim name for God, were one and the same. He saw the divine as formless, beyond names, beyond attributes, beyond any human construct. Hindu says Ram is deer. Muslim says Rahim. Both die fighting. But neither knows the secret of truth. He urged people to look past the superficial differences in names, forms, and rituals, and to recognize the single, universal essence that animates all existence. This was a direct assault on the very foundations of sectarianism. For Kabir, dropping the scriptures also meant dropping the narrow interpretations that divide humanity, and instead embracing a boundless, inclusive love for all. It means letting go of the need for exclusive ownership of truth. 4. The simplicity of the path. Sufi influence and Sahaji Yoga. Kabir's path was often referred to as Sahaji Yoga, the yoga of natural or spontaneous union. This isn't about complex breathing exercises or contorted postures, but about a natural state of being. It's about letting go of the artificial complexity we impose on spirituality. His path was the path of bhakti devotion expressed through love, humility, and sincerity. The simplest way home is about living consciously, being present in your daily life, in your work, in your interactions. Sincere devotion, a heartfelt yearning for truth, not a performative one. Inner purity, cultivating qualities like compassion, honesty, and selflessness. Direct experience, trusting your own inner knowing, your own connection, more than any external authority. He didn't ask people to become ascetics or renounce the world entirely. He himself was a householder, a weaver. His message was that the spiritual journey happens within the fabric of everyday life, not separate from it. The divine is found in the ordinary when perceived with an extraordinary heart. 5. The role of the guru or the awakened heart. While Kabir criticized institutionalized religion, he deeply valued the role of a true guru, not a figure of authority who dictates, but one who awakens. A guru, for Kabir, is someone who helps you see what you already possess, who guides you to look within rather than giving you new external instructions. Ultimately, the awakened heart itself becomes the truest guide. His poetic language, rich in metaphor, drawn from everyday life, the weaver's loom, the potter's wheel, the river, made his profound philosophical and spiritual insights accessible to everyone, regardless of their background or education. This was crucial for dropping the scriptures, because if truth requires specialized language and learning, it remains elitist. Kabir made it democratic, available to all who sincerely sought it. So, what does it mean for us in the 21st century to drop the scriptures and find the simplest way home? It doesn't mean burning all religious texts or becoming anti-intellectual. It means adopting Kabir's spirit of inquiry and his radical focus on direct, personal experience. 1. Reevaluate your sources of truth. Are you relying solely on external authorities, books, gurus, institutions to tell you what to believe? Or are you cultivating an inner listening, an intuitive knowing that verifies truth for you? Use scriptures as a starting point, as inspiration, but let your own deepest experience be the ultimate arbiter. Read them with an open heart, but not a blind mind. 2. Practice inner-directed spirituality. Shift your focus from external performance to internal transformation. Instead of asking, "What ritual should I perform?" ask, "How can I cultivate more love, compassion, and presence in my daily life?" Instead of seeking God in a distant heaven, seek the divine in your breath, in your heart, in the eyes of others, in the beauty of nature. 3. Embrace unity over division. In a world still deeply fragmented by religious, political, and cultural divides. Kabir's message of unity is more urgent than ever. Can you see beyond the labels? Can you recognize the shared humanity, the shared divine spark in every person, regardless of their beliefs or background? This is perhaps the hardest scripture to drop, the one that says, "My way is the only way." For simplify your spiritual practice if your spiritual journey feels like a heavy burden of rules, obligations, and guilt. Then you might be carrying too many scriptures. Kabir invites us to lighten the load. Perhaps your simplest way home is found in moments of mindful breathing, in an act of selfless service, in a moment of quiet contemplation in nature, or in expressing honest love to another. It's about authentic connection, not adherence to a complex creed. 5. Trust your inner authority. Ultimately, Kabir empowers us to become our own spiritual authorities, not in an arrogant way, but in the sense that the truth is revealed to the sincere heart. Cultivate that sincerity, that deep longing for truth, and trust that the way home will reveal itself, often in ways far simpler and more direct than any book could prescribe. Kabir, the simple weaver, reminds us that the divine is not hidden away in ancient texts or distant lands. It is woven into the very fabric of our being, as close as our next breath. The simplest way home isn't a complex map to decipher, but a realization to embrace. It is the understanding that truth is not something to be uncovered, but something to be uncovered within. So, this week, as you navigate your path, I invite you to gently drop the scriptures, those preconceived notions, those external demands, those burdensome complexities, and simply breathe. Look within. Connect with that unconditioned, universally loving presence that Kabir sang about, and allow it to guide you home. Thank you for joining me on Truthfully Free. Until next time, may you find profound truth in the simplest of ways.